All right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day. So just getting everything set up here. Like I said, I don't have an interaction for her yet, so, or an intro, I mean. So, yeah, the intro is kind of me just getting all my settings ready to go. So I hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Yep. All right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Today is. There we go. All right. All right, so we got everything set up here. So we're gonna be doing a little hunting, a little herbing, which we always do because that's what she's built for. Hey, doing good, doing good. Glad you can make it. Yep, today, for usually on YouTube, I stream Shifting Spirit, my little Native American girl. Uh, she is Cherokee, speaks Lakota, and of course, her story is developed by the community. Um, she literally was thrown into actually put in a boat and banished from her tribe, and she wound up in Blackwater. Uh, did not speak any white man language, no English, so she has had to learn that. And everything that she knows only is from everything she experiences in the world. So she doesn't get knowledge from any outside source. Yeah. I stream her. I'm still trying to work up the nerve to stream Creeper, the one that you know. I also play Ainurauco, the white-haired lady, and Chica de Morte, little Spanish chick down in Mexico. So, but the one I stream on YouTube at the moment is Shifting Spirit, and she's an interesting character. She cannot go anywhere, do anything, not even craft unless somebody teaches it to her. It's a very strict rule I keep with her. So, the only thing she literally wound up in the county, with the wedding outfit she had on, which is part of her backstory, a bow and a knife. That's it. No money, no lasso. She had 1 day's worth of food. So from that, very humble. Yeah. Right now, at the moment, I only stream on YouTube. Um, if I do work up the nerve to stream Creeper, I'll be streaming her on Twitch. Unless I do the dual platforms, to where you can stream to two platforms at the same time, I may do that instead. I just haven't made up my mind yet. Right, and now if you've never seen Shifting, um, she, like I said, she's Cherokee, speaks a lot of Lakota, because I know Lakota. So a lot of times when she's talking, she will use Lakota terms for animals, especially, and then has to correct herself. She did meet the Mi'kmaq tribe yesterday. Finally, they were home when she went to go visit, and they have invited her to visit their tribe lands anytime as a guest. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If I start streaming on Twitch, I'll make sure everybody gets that. Of course, I'm already on Twitch as Ainurauco, so I just haven't started streaming yet. I wanted to get all of Rosalind's or Creeper's intros and all of that stuff done, which T-Mad helped me polish the one I made up a little bit, so it's pretty good. So, all right. So, for anyone that didn't catch the stream yesterday, that is keeping up with Shifting Spirit, which she greatly appreciates all the friends that she makes. She got robbed in Valentine and beat up by a couple of thugs. Well, actually, they beat her, uh, held her at gunpoint, and then beat her up, and then robbed her. And luckily, the law was in town, so the law showed up, took care of the assailant, and gave her money back that they robbed from her, which I thought was very sweet and kind. Um, of course, this traumatized her because she already didn't trust people anyway because of the way her tribe treated her. And so now she doesn't trust people in masks. So she doesn't trust people in masks. And because of that, um, she of course was scared, which is exactly what you would expect her to be. There you go, Lopez. Um, no, like I said, I don't stream on that yet, but that's my channel on Twitch. But yeah, she got beat up. Doesn't trust white people. Was traumatized. Didn't realize she was in shock, which is a very common occurrence. So she went and started picking berries, like nothing had happened. And then, of course, once the adrenaline and shock wore off, she took off towards Aurora Basin, where the Mi'kmaq tribe is, and it just happened to be that they were home. And among them was Greyhawk, who is the chief. And they welcomed her in like she was long lost family. And of course, they had questions. They had a little sit down, found out a little bit, um, and they basically they invited her as a guest to the tribe. Anytime she wants to go to their land, she is welcome, which is a huge step. So, the start of her story, she gets banished from her tribe because she refused to marry the son of the chief. Now she's being invited as a guest of another tribe with the potential of eventually joining that tribe. And they even asked her to participate in their trials, which is a very high honor. Because an outsider, even another Native American, but an outsider being even allowed or asked to participate in their ceremonial trials is a very big deal. And she knows that. So she spent some time with a lot of them. Warrior Hawk, one very very nice. They were all very nice, polite, and very gentle with her, which was exactly what she needed to get herself back in place. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Anybody is welcome to join me over there because I will be streaming a Creeper story over there and possibly Chica de Mortes too. But let's go ahead and get runs with Wind. They even offered to get her a different horse if she wanted it, and she explained to him that she doesn't own Runs with Wind. Runs with Wind found her and chose her, and she bonded over that, and they understood and respected that 100%. So maybe the Mi'kmaq tribe is going to be a good fit for her. They also, which I thought was hilariously funny and kind, offered to teach her how to speak better English. Because they could tell real quick that she could not speak English that well. And there, so do we go after the Thika or the Tonka? I think she is going to go after the Tatanka, which is Lakota for buffalo. Oh, she's gonna lose the one she shot. Because they don't disappear over the hill. Which they did. The moment they broke over that hill, I lost sight of them. Gonna get up, gonna run, and come on. There we go. Fall down. She has learned also with her hunting technique to never go for a kill shot. Come on. There we go. She goes for the bleed shot so that it'll bleed out and also keeps it from desyncing it also. As far as getting more people, I just stream for the sheer fun of it. I'm not monetized. I don't have no plans on ever becoming monetized. With shifting, I use her for teaching RP and for teaching like herbalism, hunting, just what I know, which is not a lot. So it's for me, if I just as long as people enjoy the content, that's all that I worry about. Yeah, the whole being monetized means absolutely nothing for me. But as far as helping, just get the word out about the channel. Let your friends know, let your family know, dog, cat, chicken, the frog. Let all of them know. But definitely not the rabbit. Because I'm hunting the rabbit. That's why it's called white hair. But yeah, when shifting's hunting, she always goes for a shoulder shot because it causes them to bleed out. And if they happen to be in that passive phase when you shoot them and they fall over, a lot of times they'll desync. But if you can hit them and get them to move, then the next shot with a kill shot, they'll sync up to an active state and they won't desync on you. You can let them. Now, they still will sometimes, but that's okay. Now we're going to go ahead and, of course, she's a herbalist who has more herbs and berries than she knows what to do with. And we'll go ahead and turn that on because while that's active, of course, for a herbalist, all herbs show up with the yellow ring around them. It makes it really easy to find them. See, there's one right there. And without that, unless you know what you're looking for, that would look, you can see it looks just like a normal wheat. But that is your mint. Now, of course, I counted them last night when I was out here on Creeper. There is a total of 15 red raspberry bushes around Emerald Ranch here. So, on the average, the most you'll ever get is 10 berries if you're a herbalist. So, let's just say you got 10 for all 15. That's 115 berries. And that's every 48 minutes. See, like that was 10 milkweed right there, and 5 XP. But now that her story is actually being fleshed out by the community, because remember that's a strict rule I've had with her, is that she can't go anywhere or do anything unless somebody else teaches her, tells her, or points it out. If you watched P-Mad's stream, not last night, but about, I think it's like 3 or 4 nights ago, Dr. Robotnik was driving the train, the Iron Horse, as she calls it. And her little camp is right up there at the cave for the train, but what she calls the Iron Horse Cave. And she heard the train coming, so she decided she wanted to chase it down, which had become a little fun hobby for her, trying to chase it. Yeah, I will be. I'll be on a creeper tonight. Um, but she decided to chase the Iron Horse. She didn't realize that the Iron Horse was stopping at Emerald Station, which means she caught the Iron Horse. And of course, Granny Tick, if any of y'all have ever watched any of the interactions of anybody that streams the DRB, you've probably seen Granny Tick, who is the kindest, sweetest, most lovable granny anyone could ever come in contact with. Granny Tick heard her talking and immediately became overprotective of her and literally paid her train fare, held her hand, and walked her onto the train and would not leave her by herself. Made sure she was comfortable, she was safe. Granny Tick, best granny ever. But of course, they get to Saint Denis, and she's never been to Saint Denis. She's never been in a big city. Valentine's the only town she'd ever been to other than Blackwater. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But so they get the Dr. Robotnik hears this, tells her, wait right here at a park bench, and well, I'll put the train up and I'll come get you. Of course, she took Dr. Robotnik at his word, or she called him, or would call him the Fireface Man, because he has a big red beard. She sat for 45 minutes, waiting on Dr. Robotnik, who had forgot about her and was already in his hot air balloon headed to Rhodes. Luckily, he remembered, came back. She's still sitting there waiting. He gives her a ride back to Emerald in a delivery train. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think Creeper will be waking up at Valentine Telegraph as always. That's pretty much where everybody knows to find her, either there or Blackwater Telegraph. But so she got to experience a train, an iron horse, and learn the S cuss word from Dr. Robotnik. But now, had she have not caught the train, she would have never. She still wouldn't know where Saint Denis is or where it goes or anything. So all of her interactions have to be led by somebody else. That's just her personality, and that leads to very interesting. There's a man and a woman that she's met over by Cattail Pond that has a camp over there. She calls them the couple. Well, if anybody heard her say that, they would think she's talking about husband and wife, and they're not. They're just two people. They're a couple of people. But because of her broken English, she leaves out the people part. So it's just funny the way her personality is coming out. And of course, like I said, she has her own little camp now. She's got enough money to join another camp if they formally invite her to join their camp. They've invited her to be a guest, to visit. They haven't asked her to join yet because she hasn't proved herself yet. But they did say she can pick the ginseng and the cannabis that grows within their tribal camp, which is kind of big. They're offering their resources to technically an outsider. So that's always, it's not the big things that matter in RPing. And definitely the I want to win syndrome is definitely not good, because you don't have to win every, or you don't have to be the one on top or the one that wins every RP scenario. Because if you're one of those people that every time, if you're an outlaw and every time you fight the law, you have to win and get away no matter what, and you'll do whatever it takes to do that, even break a rule. Eventually, nobody will want to RP with you, and you've just shoebox yourself into being alone. There That's why, like with Creeper, uh, she screws up a lot. Uh, Basically, she's a constant screw up, and for her to get away with stuff is just pure luck. Honestly, pure luck. Um, she's the type of person that can ride through an open, empty field and hit a tree that wasn't even there when she started. That's just how bad her luck is. And it's fun to do that because, I mean, if you know my personality, I love to joke. I love to have fun, and if I can make somebody laugh and break character, I actually have more fun with that than I do, being all 100% serious all the time. There we go. But I do keep waiting for the day that somebody offers her a handle or a stick because Dr. Robotnik taught her that S word. So I have a feeling she's gonna ask him if it's an S stick. That's gonna be just freaking hilarious. Like, we're gonna hand you a stick. Is not poop stick. And be like, what? Oh, I already picked those. Okay. I could not see that horse to save my life. No, I think there's one. Oh. Now, of course, uh, based on her story and her backstory, she doesn't use guns um, because she's seen other people use guns and she knows that they exist. She just doesn't know what they are. Nobody's explained it to her yet. And nobody's taught her how to shoot, so she has all she knows is bow, knife, and she does have tomahawks, but I don't use them because I'm such a terrible shot. I would just lose them, so it'd be a waste of money. Plus, I'm pretty sure that her shooting a gun, she'd probably pull the trigger, it would go off, she would drop the gun and take off running. But of course, she does all of her herding. Well, I wouldn't say all. The most part of her herb picking here around Emerald, because that's where she lives, and it's her safe spot so far. Of course, she hasn't been anywhere where there's snow yet, so she hasn't been that far north, and she's not been past McFarland's ranch. But she has been to Saint Denis. Um, has not been anywhere near Van Horn, Annisburg, any of that, because no one's ever took her there yet. But of course, now, like I said, because of the robbery yesterday, she's going to be suspicious and wary of people. Which will be interesting to see how that plays out if she meets somebody that she knows like Jonathan Cooper, Jebediah Miller. She's met them, and the couple over at Cattail. That's the and Dr. Robotnik, and Granny. That's really the only people she knows because that's all she's met. But she does keep a nice supply of everything. Because I mean, she's a herbalist, so she can gather the herbs, hunt the meat, turn it all into uh, the good stuff, which she has plenty of. But there's some in her horse too. I doubt the turcoman is out this time of night. Because there's a white Mustang, a black turcoman, a Missouri fox trotter, and a paint that spawned right across the railroad track there in that area. Bum, bum, bum. Be one right up here on the hill. I've almost got all of them memorized. Almost. Oh, and I got 4 off of that one. Never did yet. Now, of course, herbalists are the ones that make all your talismans for like hunting, traveling, things like that. They also make are the ones that make all the Native American items, which is the real reason why she's a herbalist, to be honest. If I'm not mistaken, there's one more over this way. And there's a little camp right there. This little knoll area right here is actually where the Missouri foxtrotter wakes up. Like right around in here. It can wake up right in this camp up here. Of course, we got server restart in 30 minutes because we always get a 30 minute, a 15 minute, a 5, and a 1. That's because they have rules about doing things right before a server restart, like robbing people or illegal activities, things like that. And to give people time to either wrap up their RP or to set it up so that there's a reason for there to be a pause in it. Of course, all we're going to be doing is we will use that as a chance to resupply, drink, and bathroom break for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, probably about 5 minutes. But whatever everybody needs to do. And then I'll be right back into it. And I actually try to keep shifting interaction in her life to about 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 4 at the most. Um, and it just shows that with a couple of hours work every day, and it's not really work because y'all, if you watch stream, you know I'm usually just riding around. I'm chatting while I'm picking herbs and hunting at the same time. Then I use those herbs to cook the meat and to make berry juice. What I don't use, I turn around and put up on Valentine Market and sell. And she has basically, she's got a camp fully upgraded, uh, everything she needs, plenty of food, plenty of water, and has extra money. Is she filthy rich? No, she'll. I don't play her to be filthy rich because she has no desire for the white man's paper, as she calls it, because it has no value to her. So she's not worried about having it. As long as she has food and water, she's surviving. So she needs the bare necessities. Now, of course, if she joins the Miqua tribe, now she has a responsibility. She has to do her part of the work of the camp. With her being a herbalist, of course, that'd be to provide berries, stuff like that. Berries, anything, talismans, anything like that that a herbalist can do. But even then, she's not going to need money because, as if you watched the stream yesterday, she believes in the barter system. So, Warrior Hawk gave her wool, she gave him berries in return, which is what most Native American tribes believe in. The money didn't have value, items have value. So you trade equal value to equal value. And a lot of times it was a 1-for-1. And quite honestly, she was just happy to be interacting with people that were like her. And of course, you probably noticed when she's hunting, she hunts with a bow because it's silent and deadly. But that's also what she believes in. It is an improved bow. Um, but she doesn't try to kill every single animal that's standing there. She'll pick one animal out, maybe two, and that's all she kills. Uh, Again, it's not about trying to get the most at any one time. It's take what she needs, leave the rest for the next person. Now, of course, we've talked about before that if you join the DRB, you can. There are ways to grind tons of levels. There's way to grind out tons of money, uh, if that's what you're into. But unlike Red Dead Online, which is about Red Dead Online, because I played it for 4 years. It's all about trying to get that highest level, get the best upgrades for your guns, figure out the best technique, be top dog. Very little interaction with other people most times, unless you're talking to them or talking smack them when you're doing CTAs. Whereas the DRB is a RP, it's casual RP, but it's still RP focused. It's all about the interaction, the building the story. You're technically playing an actor or actress in a very big movie with a population of up to 200 people. So a lot of times you may have the highest level or the most books, as they call it, uh, of anybody in the group. You may have own all the wagons, own all the guns, and you're not the most liked person. Um, the little person there that's just trying their best to keep up with everybody and not ruin the RP moment winds up being the MVP, so to speak. So as long as you're having fun and you're supporting everyone around you in the RP scenario and making it interesting, whatever your niche is, if it's being a comedian, being the serious person, being the outcast, whatever you're playing, live it up, have fun with it. Because the moment you start having fun and enjoying the character and you're giving and giving, all of a sudden everybody wants to be around you. Like Granny Tick. I don't think I've met anyone that doesn't like Granny Tick. And that's just one of many. There are lots and lots of people. Oh, we might have a chance for some RP here. Well, they're really interested in that bush. I hope they're not peeing in the bush. Well, let's find out.
Hello.
Han, hello. Is okay me pick berry?
As far as I know, anybody can.
Me just want to make sure not want make people mad.
All right with me.
Thank you. Okay, it was a little bit. She at least interacted. And sometimes RP sessions can last a few seconds or they can last a few hours. But as long as you're trying to RP it out, and of course, remember she just got robbed yesterday. That was a white woman. She made sure it was okay to even get near the bush. And of course, for me, shifting is I with her personality, uh, it kind of lets people RP more than they normally would, just trying to deal with her and her broken English and her misunderstanding of the white man's world. So that she allows other people to RP a little extra if they want to without over RPing, because you can over RP a scene. Whereas uh, Creeper is the comedy relief because she is always going to say something a little bit off the wall or a little bit creepy. Because she told one guy one night that he had the most beautiful eyes she had ever seen in the world. And he got, well, thank you. And she got, I wonder what they would look like in a jar. So it was a compliment and then something creepy immediately. Got it. And of course, this is the Stone family camp. I haven't seen them in forever now. They're a group of startup moonshiners, a family actually, a father and two sons. Met them, I think, on their very first night in county. But I don't know what their schedule is because we have people from all over the world that play. But yeah, they were growing corn right over there, and we're trying to get moonshine started up. But I do notice there is no moonshine still here. So, don't know, this may be their fake out camp, and they actually have a real camp somewhere else with everything set up. I know if I was going to be making moonshine, it would either be in a cave or in Mexico, one or the other. Of course, there is a camp right up here that Shifting knows about. She spoke to the owner because there's a Indian tobacco plant right there, and she asked permission to pick it, and he said it was okay, so she picks it if she comes by. Now, of course, I am no expert at RPing. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm actually very terrible at it. All of my role-playing experience comes from playing Dungeons and Dragons and Vampire the Masquerade, pen and paper, back in college, like 20 years ago. So everything else is just I've met a lot of good people, and you can even take the worst RPer in the world, and there'll be something during the conversation with them that you learn, either whether it's what to do or what not to do. You still learn something, and all those little pieces add up to a point where you gain your RP skills. And luckily, I've had a lot of great teachers. T-Mad TV, Tess Valkyrie, Perno Benedetto. I mean, there's lots of them. Sir Raddick. They've definitely helped me flesh out a lot of my characters, or their personalities. Like I said, I am no expert, and I'm probably only 25% right, because I'm still new at it, but every little bit helps out. But I have learned if you have a character that has a quirk, like Creeper, for example, she is schizophrenic and psychotic, and those are traits. But the story is, why does she have them? And that's because her family was killed by a pack of angry wolves during a winter sleigh ride right in front of her. She tried to defend them, took a claw to the face, which scarred her face. That's why she wears the mask that she wears. But when she woke up, there was nothing but 2 pools of blood and some bloody drag marks. And that broke her. And as she was trying to make her way down the mountain, she got about halfway down and got lost. And a man and woman, a couple, found her, took her back to their cabin, nursed her back to health, cleaned her face up, and was feeding her the whole time. She didn't know that the food they were feeding her was because they were cannibals. So that's why she became a partial cannibal, eating human hearts. That's just a little quirk she has. And she never got rid of that, and that's how she became who she is now. When she finally got off of the mountain, it had only been a few weeks. Of course, got back home, told everyone what had happened. They never found her parents. She could no longer bear to live in the house that she was raised in by her parents, so she sold the plantation, everything in it, except for her belongings, and moved to New Dakota. So yeah, it's always fun to flesh them out. You don't have to do it immediately. You can always take your time. Creeper's I've been playing her for 2 months, so That's where her story has progressed to. So you can always have fun with it. Like little shifting here. Of course, shifting's backstory and personality is a lot easier to write. Because I am a quarter Cherokee, so a lot of it's based off of tales and legends that have been passed down through my family. Except for the whole being banished part, that was just an add-in. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes before server restarts, so plenty of time. That's where I just came from. Yes, it is. I actually thought I was thinking to crash that one. Oh, they did explain, the Miqua tribe did explain to me one of the trials they have is, the chief will tell you a specific horse, um, that he wants. And you, if I understood correctly, and from what I was watching, you have to do this without any other horse or a lasso. And we all know that shifting can tame horses without having to have a lasso and another horse. You basically have to walk up to them, keep them calm, get right up to them, and jump on them, and they won't run away. But if you run or don't calm them, of course, it spooks them and they take off. So we already know that she can do that. But like I said yesterday, if there's any trials that require shooting and running, I'm screwed. I will not pass that trial. Of a hand jerk. And fall over. Like I said, she tries to go for the bleed shot. If nothing else. Oh, no, don't start that. That bothers me. Okay. Because the bleed shot, they can sit, they're gonna run off, but at least they'll fall down and you can catch up to them and then put another shot in them. Oh, easy there. Try to run over me. Oh, there we go. And see, a lot of these berries and berries, herbs, things like that, she doesn't use nowhere near the amount she picks. So usually I wind up selling that in the market or selling to Mr. Cooper or Mr. Miller. Of course, like I said, she firmly believes in the barter system and would a lot rather barter than food or than money. But of course, the white man has money, which has value to them, but doesn't have value to her. Because what's bad that her getting robbed yesterday, if they'd have just, if they hadn't even pulled guns out and just said, "Hey, do you have any money?" She'd probably just give them money. But they wanted to rob her instead, try and take half of everything she had. Had they've asked, she'd probably give all to them. Not even thought nothing about it. Yeah, I knew it. Well, I was going to try, but it flew off too fast. And she is definitely a lot better shot with a bow at long range than I am with a gun at close range. Or than Creeper is. Get us some more oregano. Now, I don't know who's camped out right there. They were there last night when I came through as Creeper. I didn't speak to her or anything, but that little camp is cute. It's tucked away, it's hidden in. I love it. I see you too. Yeah, I know. There's one more right there, isn't there? Yep. Of course, like I said, herbs regrow every 48 minutes or one game day. So if you have a really big circuit that you run gathering herbs, um, by the time you get back to the beginning, uh, like you can plot out a 48-minute herb circuit. So by the time you get back to the beginning, all those herbs are regrown. You just literally never stop picking. If that's something you want to do. Now, you do get XP for that, which gets you your books, and she's up to 28 just from herbing and hunting and cooking. That's it. Herbing, hunting, cooking, and curing hides. Because she has figured out that Crips, uh, buys those cured hides. And even though she doesn't understand the white man's money, she knows it's a necessity for something. But those are wants, not needs, because all of her needs are met. Food, clothing, shelter. So let's head back up to the camp here. We got just a few minutes before the storm restart. And we will go visit the Miqua tribe after the storm. There's the Iron Horse Cave train tunnel. And on the other side of that is the Black Sticky Water. Cornwall, tar, and kerosene. Milkweed. mint tobacco. And oregano. Alright, so just take a little break right here. Got about 4 minutes before the storm. Storm takes like a minute. So just a little 5-minute break here. Go ahead and flee my horse. And get out of my own nose. Alright, and we'll just take a little 5-minute break here, and I will be right back. Alright, and we are back. Can you load it in here? Okay. That's weird. Okay, hopefully it didn't not having trouble with it after all that. We may not be able to get back in after the restart. Okay, so it looks like it's a problem with the CF. See if anybody else is recording this one. Yeah, it's a problem with the CFX. I'm not the only one having it, so that's good. Of course, they'll have it fixed in just a moment or two. Yeah, already done that. Okay, that's one of the first things I always do. Gotcha, gotcha. Let's fix it. Mm. Dun-dun. We will just clear it again to make sure, though. Hey, Void Amy, glad you can make it. See, there's still nobody in it. So yeah, it's a CFX connection error. And again, a lot of times the CFX connection area error, yeah. So it appears that 5M and Redium are both down. And unfortunately, stuff like this does happen when you're dealing with electronics. And the main thing to remember is it's just a game. There is no current service alert on the TFX.RMS page. Blah 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 blah. Did not write C hyphen greater than S authentication secret 8CCP405. In other words, something broke and we don't know what it is. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, there's no telling how long this is going to take to get big. Oh, and by the way, for anybody that plays the DRB and doesn't already know this, before you connect to a server in RedM, if you go to the little gear icon that says settings and click on it, you can set your CFX player name. This is the name that'll show up whenever somebody holds down their right mouse button and focuses on your character. It'll display this name. So I try to remember that every time I change characters, I make the name match the character that I'm on. For the longest, no matter which character I was on, it always said Ainurauco. Now it actually matches, so. Still nobody in. Of course, you can always see the number of people connected right here out of 200. 2,000. That's a lot of people. Yeah, it keeps saying that it hasn't reported, but if it just happened, or what usually happens whenever you get this error right here, is whenever they were rebooting the server, because Austin runs the server and built it and everything, so whenever he reboots it, then it has to connect to CFX, and then connect to RedM, and then we connect to CFX and connect to RedM. If something happens between here and the reboot, then we can't find it here. And it just reports as a CFX error. But it could be just a bad reboot and just needs to be rebooted again. That happens sometimes. Because luckily I come from a networking background, owned my own telecommunications business, so sometimes I realize it's like, well, why is part D not working? Well, it's actually because part C and B down here didn't get to C. It just did A and B. So its D never connected to this B, so I can't get to this D. Yeah, networking's not always a straight path. It's so weird. So this could be down for a while. So I am not going to hold y'all up. So I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream here for the day. And we will try again tomorrow, or maybe even later after CFX comes up. If it does, I'll send an alert out, let everybody know. I'll post it in the DRB live stream. But until then, everybody have a great day. Don't forget, be careful chasing rabbits. They have really small holes. We have really big heads. Don't want to get stuck in there. And as always, bye-bye.